Thank you very much for joining. This is a provision-isr seminar for our Ossia operational system, NVR DVR operational system, and provision CAM2 app. What we're going to try and do today is just to show you a little bit inside of both the local software of the DVRs and the NVRs, and a little bit from the app. We're going to touch some of the interesting features, not your everyday features, but some of the interesting features, some features, whether if you're using provision-isr product right now or not, this will help you a lot to learn a little bit more about some of the features that maybe you haven't experienced with, or you had some questions about, whether it's face recognition, analytics, or some of the advanced features. And also some of the small features that might help you that you haven't known about. And this seminar will take about 50 minutes, I believe 45 to 50 minutes. We'll try to keep it in that time frame. At the end of this seminar, we're gonna leave room for questions. We're gonna stay here for another 20 minutes, 30 minutes, as long as you need, just to ask any questions that you might have. During the seminar, if you have any question, please feel free to write it on the chat or write it on the side. And at the end of the seminar, we're gonna open the microphones so you can ask away any questions you might have. David from our technical department, who is in charge a lot of the knowledge sharing in our company. As you saw in our movie, we believe in knowledge sharing. So we have quite a lot of those seminars to train you. And especially in this time when there is a lot of technology changes in the market, advanced analytics, face recognition, and so on, we encourage you to join our seminar, to view the pre-recorded ones available on the YouTube, on our website, and many other. David, good morning.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is David. I'm from the technical department of provision-isr. We're about to start the webinar that we all looked forward to. In just 1 second. Okay, so Amnon, please confirm. You can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So let's wait a second. Okay. So as a company, provision-isr, we always try to keep the complexity of our systems to the minimum. We try to make our systems as easiest to handle as possible, even if we are dealing with some high-tech complex features such as face recognition and people counting and artificial intelligence features. So today I'm going to introduce to you our operating system, the Ossia. This is basically an NVR. This is what you're going to see if you're looking at an NVR at the interface of it. We're going to start with a little bit look at the menu. Okay, the menu is small with a few buttons. Of course, the symbols are different, and it's really easy to get from one point to another if you want. There, of course, we can see the different layouts of the screen, everything that we already know, okay, from other systems, of course. We can see that we have a couple of different layouts. If we want to see different layouts, then of course we have some special ones. Of course, one of the layouts that I want to talk to you about is a layout that we sometimes encounter when we try to install a camera in a long hallway or in an office or hotel or hospital. And we try to take the camera and to install it in a way that we will see a long corridor. So usually we will have some troubles in doing that because let's take, for example, our corridor camera, 1 second, which is actually this one. So usually we will try to do a couple of things. We can turn the camera around so it can capture all of the corridor to the left and right. But in this case, we will actually get this screen. Okay, this screen is basically we can see the original proportions of the camera, but we will see the black and white from the left and right. So we won't be able to see all of the camera. Now, if we will go and try to overspread the window, so that we will see a nicer image, a bigger image, then we will lose proportions. So this is why we actually developed something that is called the corridor mode. So basically, we take the same camera, as you can see here to the left. The same camera fits to the right proportions. It sits nicely to the left, and we don't see the black edges, okay? And we don't see the walls, so we can see a good picture which is fitted to a corridor mode. So this is one of the features that we have. Next thing I want to show you is the ability to go into the playback. Right, we have a CCTV system. We want to go into the playback. Whenever you want to go into the playback, just press the quick playback button. As you can see right now, we are in playback mode. The system reacts very, very fast. Of course, we can see to the right, we can see the bar with the colors, with the different recordings. Just a simple click will take us previously or forward into to the point that we want to see. But we are going to get to it really soon. Next thing is the manual alarms. Okay, now usually in CCTV systems, we have dry contacts, okay, or alarm outputs. Normally, we will activate them using a trigger from a camera that has a motion or something that is happening. But sometimes, all we want to do is just to activate it. We want to activate our alarm output. So in this case, we have the manual alarm. You can just press the trigger button. It will activate the alarm output from that camera or from the NVR itself. Okay, so if you have a camera, even 16 cameras with alarm outputs that are located 100 meters away, you can just in the press of a button activate those triggers and clear them. This is very good if you want to open a door, activate a siren, lock a door, do whatever you want to do, just in the press of a button. Next thing is the alert status. Basically, in here we can see a couple of events with multiple colors. So we like to address it as a car's dashboard. Usually in a car, you will see multiple colors. If you see blue or green, it means something is happening, but not very important. But if you see the color red, then it means that it's something that you might want to notice. So in this case as well, we can see here on the bell, if we see a red, it means that something is happening. Maybe HDD is full, maybe HDD is faulty, or there is an IP conflict, or any other thing that might happen. So we want to see what's going on. Next thing is the information button. Every piece of information that you want to get from your recorder is available in this button. While in other systems, you might want to go into the menu and search for the information. In here, we search for an easier way to deploy all of this information. Just press the information button. You will get whatever you want. If it's the firmware of the NVR, if it's a QR code in order to connect via your application, if it's to download your application for Android or iPhone, of course. We can see a couple of things: the camera status, which you're recording, which are not, the alert that you just saw, the bitrate every camera is using. We can see the network status. Okay, every bit of information about the network. It's for the technical guys among us. IP address, the different ports that are used, the bandwidth, the incoming and outgoing bandwidth by the NVR. So you know that you don't suffocating the network. Okay, so all of this right in a click, you can see it. Disk status, you can see the disks, the amount of disks. We have 2 disks. You can see the size. You can see that those disks are decrypted. It means that you can encrypt the disks, which is, by the way, a GDPR regulation demand to have encrypted information on the disks. You can see, of course, the group of the disk if you want to divide them to different groups. Okay, if you want to have the more important cameras to record for a longer period of time and the less important cameras to put on the other disk, and you don't need a lot of history to do it. You can see the record period for each disk. What is the most previous, the earliest point of time that you have a recording, and what is the latest? Okay, so we can see different dates because the sizes of the disks are different. Backup status, if there is a backup going on, and the online users, we can see which online user is online. all of this information just in one click, the information button. The next thing that we're going to see is the customized display modes. So, of course, whenever we have a layout that we chose, let's say that we chose a layout of some kind and we want to go and save it, we just need to press the disk. We save the layout that we want. In this case, we saved the corridor mode, and we have a couple of other layouts that are saved. So basically, if you want to save a layout, just choose it, save it, or create a new one right in a click of a button. Next thing is the in-channel sequence. Of course, we all know that the in-channel sequence button, I'm going to get a layout of line, so it will be easier for us to see it. Basically, the sequence, if you want to create it, just press the plus button. You get a thumbnail of all of the cameras that you have with a snapshot, so it is easier to see which camera you want to choose. All you have to do is to choose the dwell time, which means the gaps between one camera to another. And then once we created a sequence, you just drag it into the point that you want, and you can drag, of course, as many sequences as you want. And after 5 seconds, you can see that the cameras are changing. The picture is changing. Okay, so this is extra good for places that has a small monitor, but 16 cameras. So you can deploy all of the 16 cameras to run one after another. This is just a really cool thing that is actually existing for years, but we gave it a facelift to look much more appealing. Next thing is the mini menu. Every camera that you can see here has a mini menu. If you just press the camera, you can see this menu. You can manual record. You can get an instant playback for the last 5 minutes. You can hear the sound. I will actually do it on the fisheye camera. If you hear the sound, we should hear an echo. Okay, so if the camera has a built-in microphone or any other microphone, you can just see it. Take a snapshot, zoom in. Fisheye mode, of course, if it's a fisheye camera, you can just deploy the fisheye mode straight away into the camera. And of course, you can go ahead and play with the cameras, just as if it was a PTZ. And of course, activate. Of course, you can go and go into the image adjusting. So if in previous years we had to go into the web interface of a camera in order to get to this, settings such as the brightness, contrast, sharpness, WDR, all of those, now all we have to do is to do it right from the NVR. In this case, we have 3 pages of settings. Okay, 3 pages that really allows you to go through the different settings. Now, many cameras have the ability to focus or refocus when turning to night mode. So, of course, this camera isn't one of them because it's not a motorized varifocal camera. But we've developed this button that in night mode will automatically comprehend the small loss of focus that is barely noticeable, but usually it happens. By pressing this button, it will automatically comprehend it, and you will get an image that is fully focused daytime and nighttime. Next thing that we are going to do is actually we're going to go into the playback. So as we saw before, you just have to press the playback button, and let's see what we have here. So first of all, of course, that we can see that on the bar, you can see on the bar the different colors that you have. Every color represents a different kind of recording. Okay, so if you only want to see, for example, motion recording, we can just filter out according to the recordings that we want, and we will be able to see only those cameras recordings. I'm going to get all of the other recordings as well. You can zoom in. Okay, you can zoom out to into a level of 5 minutes even. We can see 10 o'clock and 10:05. Of course, that wherever you point with the mouse, you can see a small snapshot that shows you what you're going to see if you press on that camera. Okay, so if you choose camera number 2, we can see the number 2 here on the top is painted red. So we're on this camera, and of course, we can see that this camera is also here on the snapshot. Now, of course, that you can also back up videos. Okay, if you want to back up to make a playback of a video, then unlike other systems, you don't have to go into each camera separately and just start pressing on the scissors for the first period and the last period. All you have to do in this case is to mark what you want with the mouse, and you can mark even multiple cameras all at once, even all of the cameras that you have, okay? And then just press the backup button. You press the backup button and immediately you get, you see all of the cameras that you want to backup. You can see the total size, the starting date, the ending date, and all of those. And once we press the backup button, you can back it up in AVI format or in private. Private, it means that you can give your files a password, okay? So if anybody has the disk on key that you just back up the files into, then this person will not be able to do anything, with those things, okay, with your video. Okay, okay, now we're going to go into the another ways to get the playback, to see playback. Now, of course, we have the standard, the playback that you just saw, but actually what I want to show you is a few cooler ways and more useful ways to see the playback instead of going to the classical way. So the first way to get an event, we're going to see how to get a playback using the by time feature. By time feature, it means that basically we want to choose multiple cameras, as many cameras as we want, and we are basically searching for something specific that has happened during that time. So we already saw this bar, which represent all of the recordings. And of course, we can see a snapshot of that same moment. So whenever we press on the bar, we get a different snapshot. If you want to see the video itself, we can just click and we can see on the bottom left the video playing. Of course, we can see a video from every other camera that we can press on. If you want to go into the playback that we just saw, just double click the video and we are getting into the same menu that we were before on the playback. Of course, pressing the exit button will take us back to the other location. Of course, that from here we can also back up. Everything is very dynamic. Everything is accessible from most places, so you can basically get you can back it up even from here. Next, the next way to get a recording, we like to call this this way to get a playback to use the best cameras in the world, which are our eyes. Basically, this is called the by time slice image, and it is very useful in cases that we are searching for something that changed on the scene, something big that changed on the scene. So for that example, we are going to take one of our cameras. The camera is actually picturing the parking lot, okay, behind our offices. So let's say that something was stolen, a car was stolen, for example, or something was happening, and we want to understand exactly when it happened. So I just access the camera, and right now we can see different snapshot. Each snapshot represents a different day, the 31 of January, 30 of January. Of course, we took January as an example. So double click on January, we will get another snapshots from round hours, from every hour of the day. We see 24 thumbnails, each one for every hour. So let's say that we want to know exactly when that black car that we can see right here, when did it arrived. So we can see that it was here at 9 o'clock, but wasn't at 8. So we are going to double click on 8 o'clock. And really quick, we are going to notice that the black car was here at 8:19, but wasn't at 8:18. So double click on 8:18, we get into the playback menu, and then we're going to fast forward the video so we don't waste a lot of time waiting for the car. And let's skip a little bit more, and we can see it right here. Okay, so this was, I just searched for a camera while explaining the process. It was, I think, less than 30 seconds. So this is a great way to find things on the scene, things that once you needed a lot of time to search for, but using this way of search, you can do it very, very fast and very precise. Sorry. Okay. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do, I'm going to choose one of our cameras. Now, we actually didn't really talk about it yet, but we're going to see here something that we all have been waiting for, which is actually the cherry in the pie that we are all waiting to see. So, of course, I'm talking about our ability to deploy the artificial intelligence in order to recognize a face. So I'm going to try a little something. We can see here a recording. We are in playback mode of one of the cameras. Okay, this camera has the ability to recognize faces. And now we're going to go ahead into the smart playback, which actually indexing all of the different recordings that we have on the NVR into small periods of bits that contain the analytic that we want to use. So in a second, we're going to get the menu of searching a face. So before we start, this menu is a menu that you are going to see throughout this webinar. Okay, in order to make things as easier as possible, then we are using the same screens in order to search a face, so everything looks familiar all the time. So we have a couple of ways to search for a face. First of all, from a face database, we're going to talk about database in no time. Of course, database contains saved faces on the NVR itself. We can get a face from the snapshot gallery, which are the faces that the NVR constantly captures. We're going to talk about it as well. And external faces. We can search for a face from a discon key. Okay, we plug a discon key into the recorder and we can search for a face. So in this case, we are going to search one of our employees' face. And I want you to see to the right here on the bar, we can see a bar that actually has the color, a gray color on it. Now, basically, whenever we see a blue line, such as here, it means that we are going to see exactly the same face are moving on that recording. So bear it with me, let's see it. This is recording number 1, this is the first line, this is the guy with the green shirt, this is Tzlil. So we can see him once. I'm going to go to the next part where we have a line, and let's wait for it. And there he is. He's passing very quick in front of the camera. I hope you got to see it. And again and again and again. So basically, whenever we are seeing the blue line, it means that the face that we chose are going to appear on the screen. Okay? So what did we actually saw right now? And we can see him right again, of course. Some of you know it, some of you don't, but our camera, our line of cameras contain one series that is called the Eyesight version 2, Eyesight V2. Those cameras has the ability to actually use an internal algorithm in order to detect a figure of a face. Okay, those cameras also can do counting and perform other tasks such as recognizing different humans or vehicles. We're going to see it. But of course, they can use their big engine, internal big processing power in order to recognize a face. It works in two phases. First of all, the camera detects a face. Okay, it basically recognizes that there is something that looks like a face in the image. And then it sends that face, regardless to who he is, into the NVR. The NVR has the ability to recognize who is this person. Is it a John or David or Tzlil or somebody else? So after that said, we are going to now go into the analytics menu, which of course I'm going to access by using the menu, okay, as we saw before, and analytics. Now, this menu that you can see right now is the menu that will be with us. It will go side by side with us in any case that we want to search for a specific analytic. If it's a face or a human or a vehicle, we're going to see those things. This is the same menu every time in order to make things, of course, recognizable and things that you know. Okay, the menus are not changing. Okay, so first of all, this is the menu as we just saw. Now, in order to search for a face, Right now we are in the mode for searching for a face. We can search for a face, just a general face, by using the by event feature. So if we just press the search button, we can see multiple different faces right here. Those are the faces that has been captured by our cameras. All of the cameras that has the ability to detect a face. And as of today, we can see that the date is the 2nd of February today. So those are the faces that was captured today. Of course, you can see the results from the main passage camera and the face attendance and all of the different cameras. You can search for a face from today or yesterday or even the entire week. And even you can search for a face to a period of an entire month. Okay, so you can get a lot of results. I now just searched for a week. We can see 13,000 different faces in a COVID-19 era. So it's quite a few. The other thing that we can do here is, instead of just looking at the face as a cut out, we can see the face from really close. You can press the scene button in order to see all of the scene when where those face has been captured. So immediately you can see if something was stolen or taken or broken or given or something was happening when those face has been recognized. Okay, so if your client say, okay, somebody stole something, I don't know when, why, you can just search for a face, look at the scene, and then you can see those face next to the scene that your customer complained about. The other way for searching a face is the ability to do that. We can search for a face for a specific face. So I just switch to by face and I press the plus button. Using the plus button, we can see the same menu that we saw before, okay, with the face database and the snapshot gallery and all of those. And of course, that we can go ahead and search for whoever we want. I'm using this face all the time because of the next thing that I'm going to show you, which demands for a face that has been captured in many different places. So of course, we can see the snapshot of the same face over and over again. And by the way, I didn't mention it, quite forgot, but once you press an image, you can see the video on the bottom left, just like before. Okay, so if you press the image, you can see the video, you can double click the video, you get into the regular playback that we saw, and then you can back it up. And of course, if you want to, you can go back using the exit button and go back to the menu. One of the features that we have implemented into the NVR is the ability to actually track a person. You can actually upload a map into the NVR. You can upload it from a regular JPEG format, okay, into the NVR. You can deploy the cameras on the map itself, and the face are going to actually, the NVR will show you the route, okay, the route that this face has been to between all of the different cameras. So we can see here sales desk camera. We can see that the face started from there and then moved into the main passage and then into the easy check, okay, that exists over there. So we can basically see the entire campus of the university that you have, or the police station, or the city if you want, and you can see the entire course that this person has been to. So this is a really key feature in order to control different places and to ease up of searches, to make life easy if you're searching for a specific person. Sorry, okay. Another way that we can use to search for a face is, instead of searching for one face, you can actually search for multiple faces. Okay, we can search for this. You can see that the V's are complying. We can see a maximum. We can choose a maximum number of 5 faces. So I don't know if we will remember those faces, but once we're searching for them, we can see here all of the faces that we have chosen. We can search for them. We can also search for an entire database. So, for example, if we will choose only one of the databases, we are going to talk about them, of course. If we choose only the database, we can press select group, and we will automatically search for only that database. Now, a few words about the database. Database is very simple to understand. Basically, if you want to divide between different groups of people, then database is the way to do it. You can have a group of employees, a group of managers, a group of, I don't know, laboratory workers, and you can give different permissions to people according to the group. according to the database. Group is a database. So only the, for example, only the employees, only the managers can enter the manager's office, but the employees can't access to that office. This is just one of the examples, the most common one. Using the searching database ability, you can actually search only for that specific group. So if you want to know when some of the employees were and where, you can just search only for them. Another interesting thing that we have implemented into the system, since we have the face recognition ability, is the ability to create face attendance. So all we have to do once we have a working system with an NVR that can recognize faces, all we have to do is to choose what kind of a report we want, daily, weekly, monthly. We can choose the working hours, Sunday until Thursday. In this case, we can choose which month. And I'm going to choose January, not February, because it just began, and press the search button. In a click of a button, you will get actually all of the information regarding to the people. Okay, so we can see the name of the people, we can see when they have arrived according to the hours that we have deployed. And if we'll just randomly choose one, we can see here, for example, the first time that this guy has been captured and the last time. Okay, according to every day has its own pictures, of course. Now, if you want to use this kind of ability, you have to install the cameras in a proper way, in front of the door for the exit, in front of the door for the entrance. It can form as a perfect backup system for the regular face attendance system that exists. You can also export all of the information we just saw into an Excel file. So later on, you can deploy it into the right department in order to do whatever they need to do. Now, we talked about the iSight V2 camera that has the ability to detect a face. It also has the ability to detect different humans. Now, I'm not going to explain it again because it's really the same explanation. The camera has a built-in algorithm inside that actually allows it to distinguish between different shapes, familiar shapes, human, vehicle, or a two-wheel vehicle. In the way of in a case that we are searching for a human, like here, we are actually going to choose, of course, like before, what is the period of time from when until when. So let's search for humans for an entire week. And all we do is to search for press the search button, and we can see we can see all of the images. We can see 5,000 results of humans with the same principle like before. Press the thumbnail, and you will get the video to the left. Okay, here and here, and of course also here. With the ability, of course, to double click it and to go into the playback that we saw before. You can also press the scene, just like before. We press the scene and we can get to see all of the, we can see what was happening before. We can see the entire frame. It's really, really, really easy to use. Another ability is to search for different vehicles. So if you will search for a vehicle, just like before, we can just press the search button and we will get everything that our cameras recognized as a vehicle. I might want to take out the LPRs. So 1 second. Okay. Okay, of course, we can choose what kind of event we are searching for. If it's just a vehicle or a two-wheel vehicle or whatever we're searching. Now, our cameras has a very special ability. It can recognize that the vehicle is moving. So within all of the results that we can see here, which are a total of 43 from today, we won't see parking vehicles. So whenever I press a snapshot, we can see that the car is actually moving. Okay, even though that there are a lot of parking vehicles all around it, the camera can detect that the car is moving, and we won't see on a parking vehicles because those are actually false alarms. You can also go ahead and search for a two-wheel vehicle, and for that case, I'm going to choose another camera that we have here, and that we will also show another ability that we have to do. Well, not a lot of bicycles has passed here today, so let's try an entire week. Let's start it right before, and okay. Okay, that should do. Yes, of course, I search for a, okay, let's go for yesterday, and this is it. Okay, so we have some bikes here. Of course, using exactly the same principle as before, we can see the small snapshot. Okay, we can see the small snapshot. We can see the bike that is moving. You double click on the image will show us the video itself. Now I want you to take a look at something else here. Okay, just a second. Let's wait for it. Okay, so we can see the bike here. Just rewind the video for a second. All of the eyesight cameras that we have has the ability to count. So on the upper left, you can see the total number of people that has moved in the camera. So we can see 82 people has entered, 80 people has exit. We can see the same numbers for bikes, okay? The entrance for bikes and the exit for bikes. I wanted to take a look at the number 1 of a bike right here in the entrance, or actually the exit. One of them is going to change as soon as this bike is moving. So bear it with me. The numbers are 1 and 1, and the bike is passing. And really soon we can see that the number is supposed to change. Okay, now it changed. Okay, so its exit says to. So basically our cameras can also count. They can count human, vehicle, and two-wheel vehicle. And show us the numbers actually. So this is a great way, of course, to control the amount of people that are entering a building or a parking lot or whatever you name it, we have it. Okay, that was the, okay, you know what, if you have any question about the things that we saw about now, please ask, because the next part that we're going to do is the application.
I'm going to leave room for question at the end. The microphones are still closed until the end.
Okay.
If you have any question, please feel free to write it in the chat. What are you going to show next?
Okay, the next thing is going to be the application. I'm going to
okay. So, of course, just a few words while you do that. Of course, there's many more features to show, including how to play with the recording and how to do many things. We tried just to show some of the interesting features. I know David is speaking quite fast, and this is because he wanted to catch as much as possible in the next 15 minutes as well. At the end of the seminar, we're going to stay here for any open questions you might ask. I'm reminding you. In the meantime, what we're going to show you next is the Provision CAM2 app. This is the app of provision-isr equipment, whether it's an NVR, DVR, or cameras. And we're going to show you some of the cool features, including face recognition, analytics, and some of the hidden features that you maybe haven't heard about. David, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to share my screen once again, and let's take a look. Okay, so of course this is the phone, and we're going to activate the provision app, CAM2 app. Okay, so in order to do that, I'm actually using a TeamViewer view. Okay, so what we're going to try to do is to optimize the speed. I'm going to optimize the speed for the TeamViewer, so we will have a fluent video of whatever I'm doing. It will go a little bit over the quality will be a little bit bad, okay? But this is for us to have a quick connection. So first of all, let's close the cameras. You already saw the cameras are opened very fast. A few things about the app. We also here thought about how to make things as simple as possible. We have the different layouts. Okay, you can see different layouts for the screen. You can deploy a layout for 4 cameras, for 9, 16, or any other layout that you can think of. Of course, with one centered camera in the middle and a couple of small ones surrounding it. We can also see the NVRs right here. We can see the NVRs that are currently connected actually the devices, the NVRs and cameras that are currently connected into the camera, into the application. So we can tell that all of those devices that are showing here right now are connected. To the upper right corner, we can see the device list button, okay, the server list button. Once it is opened, we can see a couple of things. First of all, we can see the name of the device that is actually connected into our application, connected and alive. Using the green antenna that you can see here, the green signal, it means that this device is online. Okay, so we can see video, of course, and playback and whatever we want from this device. So this is actually acting like a small VMS software, because it actually shows you which devices are online, which devices are offline. You can, of course, scroll throughout the different devices you have. And we can see here that those devices starting from here have a gray antenna. It means that they are not connected at the moment. So a great way to actually have control over your different devices. Another thing that we can do here is the ability to share. If you want to share your QR code and print it over your store or share it to your family members or employees or whatever, all you have to do is to press this button right here, which will give you a clear QR code. You can just press the share button starting from here, and just you can share it into your to your colleagues. Of course, those colleagues will need the username and password. Okay, it's not that only the QR code will be enough, but of course it's super easy to use. Another thing that we can see is...
David, can you quickly show again how you share and share it with me via WhatsApp?
No, well, first of all, one second. I don't want to confuse between P2P and the QR code. The QR code generated by the app is generated based on the information you have. If you input IP, then the QR code will generate at the IP. If you add the device by DDNS, the QR code will generate the DDNS address. It's not related to P2P. You can use this QR code even if you are not using P2P. Just to make clear, because when people hear a QR code, they always think about the P2P. But in this case, it's not related.
I see, but if we connect it through P2P and we do the QR code, then we will get a P2P. Okay, thank you, Tal. Okay, so how to share? Basically, of course, you can just press the share button and you can use whatever application you have in order to share it. So you can share it via WhatsApp, via whatever you want into your colleagues. Your colleague, once he's scanning this QR code, he will get the details as provided by the application that you have. So if your device is via P2P, you will get a P2P, DDNS, the things that Tal mentioned. We can see another very familiar thing for those who listened to me before about the I button. Okay, so we can actually see here a I button in front of almost every channel, every device that we have. What does this I button do? Exactly the same as we saw with the NVR. If you have a device connected to the application, like here, then you can get all of the information, the same information that we got straight from the NVR, starting from the basic info that we saw before, firmware version with the NVR name and everything, with the channel status, okay, with the network information that we can see. And of course, everything is responding very, very fast. So exactly the same information that we got from the NVR before, we can see it from here. There is something new actually that was added to those who know the system already. Device cloud upgrade. You can basically confirm an upgrade from your application. You can confirm an upgrade to your device. So if you have an NVR that needs to be upgraded, you don't have to go to it. You can just use the application in order to do it. Okay, the next thing that we are going to see is, okay, so first of all, let's open one of our devices. So let's choose NVR Israel. If you want to deploy the cameras, you can just choose the camera on the screen. You can press the number of the camera and then you will see the video of it. You can also see the names of the cameras if you just press this button right here, so we can see the names, we can know which camera we are going to choose. And if you don't have the power for it and you want to activate all of them all at once, just press this arrow. Okay, so we can see that in no time, all of the cameras are showing in front of our eyes, and we can start deal with it. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to see is just like before, the manual alarm. If you want to open a door or activate a siren or close something or activate something with the dry contacts, you can use it. You can do it from the app itself also. So all you have to do is to press the manual alarm. We get to this button, and we can see all of our cameras that has the ability to dry contact to an alarm output, and we can activate their alarm output. We can activate and close it, of course, using the clear button right here. And we can also choose the name of this alarm. Okay, so we can give a name to different alarm outputs. So, you know, this one is the siren, this one is the front door and the back door and the backyard and the shotgun and everything. Okay, you want to clear the output that you chose, that you did, you press the clear button and it is gone. Okay, so next thing that we're going to do is actually what most of us are here to see. Of course, it is the ability to perform special kind of searches. So it all starts and ends with the 3 dots on the bottom right. We press the 3 dots, we get the wider menu, which contains all of the analytics. So let's start with, for example, add a new person. This is something that I didn't really mention before. When we talked about the NVR, we saw the different databases. There is an ability, of course, to add a person into the database from the NVR, but you can also do the same thing from the application. All you have to do is to press add a new person. We can see the image. Okay. All you have to do is to take a snapshot, give the image a name, and all you have to do, this is Hebrew. Okay, we give it a name, and after that, all you have to do is to choose the group. So the groups that we are seeing right now are groups that are existing on the NVR. Those are not groups on the application on the phone, those are on the NVR. So you can wander around with your phone and add your friends or colleagues or VIP customers into your database. And whenever they are reaching to one of your stores, they will be greeted by a welcoming message, or the door will open for them, or you will get a push message that they have arrived. Okay, anything is possible, of course. Okay. 1 second, let's do DND, I forgot. Thank you. Okay. So, of course, in this case, we don't need it. And moving back to the other thing. So, another thing that we can do here is to search by an image. Okay, so I'm going to press it. We're going to get the same frame like before. We can see the camera that is opened on the application. And take a look at the surrounding line, the blue line that surrounds my face. It is right now blue, okay? It surrounds it, it looks blue, but when the camera doesn't recognize a face, it is not blue anymore. And we see the face must be in the frame. So of course, when the face are in the frame, we can take a snapshot. That is an ugly picture of me, I'm sorry. Okay, and then you can start search using the face. Of course, you can choose what will be the similarity rate. If it will be a high similarity or a middle or a low, let's choose the middle, it doesn't matter, and start searching. So of course, now we are going to get a thumbnail of every time that this face has been captured, and it will be sorted by the similarity rate. So 97%, 93%, down to a minimum of 75 probably. What can you do with it? Of course, you can press one of the images and immediately you will get the option to see, first of all, what was the camera that captured it, what is the time, the date, and press the 4 lines and you will get a video. Of course, that this video has a pre-record of a few seconds, and of course, the second that those face has been captured right here. Okay, so of course that right now we are being taken into the playback that we are going to see really soon. So going back in the menu, and we are getting, we're going to the other menu and the other menu, and we just go back and back. And now let's see another ability that we have, which is the ability to, let's see, which is the ability to actually search for a face, okay, using a name. How can we search using a name? Of course, from the database. So basically, we have the databases on the NVR, a lot of names in there. So let's search for, I don't know, Tzlali, okay, it's Tzlil. So we have Tzlil. This image of Tzlil, one of the employees, is actually stored on the database. It's stored on the NVR, but yet we can see the image right here. Just like before, we can choose the for how long we are going to search for. Okay, you can search for an entire month, as spoken before, and start searching. So of course, you don't have to be near the person in order to search for it. You can just search from the database. You can search even, I didn't mention it, but you can also search for a face using the gallery on your phone. Okay, I'm going to really show it really quick. Basically, it's search by image like before, and we can press this button right here that is turning red in order to access to the gallery from our phone and search for a face from there. If you press it, we will get the ability to choose from where to search. Okay, the next thing that we're going to see is playback. Of course, until now, the thing that we saw, the things that we saw were live, including right now. If you want to access the playback, all you have to do is to press the playback button, which is down here, down below, and we are getting into the playback. So in playback mode, we are taking, of course, to midnight, to the beginning of this day. You can also see multiple cameras even in playback mode. So let's take, let's say 9 cameras. So you can see playback of 9 cameras simultaneously. You can also see that it responds very, very quick. Whenever we press on an image, okay, I'll press this image right here, you will see that the colors are changing on the bottom. The colors that represent the recordings, they are changing according to what was happening on that specific camera. Okay, so we can of course move in and move back and forward on the camera that you are constantly watching. So let's say take for example this camera. Let's put it on a full screen. You can pinch in to in the lower part of the screen, so we can see lower resolution of the recording. We can see up to a period of a minute, 9:59, 10 o'clock. We can see that at 10 o'clock we had some motion. Okay, so of course you have all of that in the palm of your hand. You can also filter according to the recording that you want to see using this button right here. Okay, so if you just press it, you can filter according to what you are searching for. So if you are searching only for a motion and AI event, which is let's say a human face, we're searching for human face as well. We press OK. This is all of the recordings that we are going to see. Only motion and human face that was recognized on that camera. Okay, super easy way to really simply view what you want to see. You can also download a video if you want. Just press the arrow pointing down on the upper right of the screen. Just press it and immediately we'll get a bar, a starting point and a finishing point. You can just move it, okay? And start download. Once you start download, it will be downloaded into your device, into your phone. It is actually been downloaded. I will cancel it so we don't withdraw our bandwidth. Actually, you download it as an MP4 format. So once you have it on your phone, you can share it. Okay, you can share it using WhatsApp, unlike other brands that we saw that actually have the file in a raw format, and then you can send it, but nobody can watch it because they need a special player. In this case, now you can use whether even through the WhatsApp, you can play the video part. Sorry, okay. Another thing that I want to show you is our ability to search by event. What is a search by event? we can actually search using, of course, the three dots on the bottom right. We can actually search by an event, which I hope you can see. Okay, yes, it responded a bit slower. So in this case, you can also search for a face. Like before, if you search for a face, you can just search for a general face like we already did. So let's just see a small explanation of it. In this case, we don't choose a special face, a specific face. We just see a regular random faces, all of the faces that has been captured with all of the abilities to press the face and see the playback and download and see the live view and the playback and everything. We can also search for a human, just like before. So all of the power that you had using the NVR, you have the same thing using the application itself. Start searching, and we are getting all of the human recognitions that we saw from all of the cameras. We can see the name of the camera, okay, which is an Office DDA. This is the name of the camera. You can see the sterile area. This is the kind of analytic that was set. Really, all of the information you need and not need, all of it in the frame, with of course the ability to access to the playback. Okay, with the ability to back it up and everything. Really as simple as possible. Just to we try to make the application to be very pragmatic. Okay, very simple. Another ability that we have is the ability to search for a vehicle. Okay, so we search for a vehicle. In this case, I will choose, let's choose the type of vehicle. I'm going to choose, okay, all of those, so we don't get all of the LPR recognitions, and start searching. So just like before, we are getting anything that is a vehicle with the same ability to only see vehicles that are moving and not parking vehicles, just like before with the playback and everything. I hope it moves good in your case because we are in a remote connection, but I think I see that it moves quite well. Okay, another thing that we're going to see, okay, before we finish, we're really close to finish, is the different abilities that we have with the fisheye camera. The fisheye camera's abilities were taken straight from the gaming industry. We're going to see some of them right now. So this is one of our fisheye cameras. It is a 6 megapixel camera. The lens is 1.18, which is very, very thin. So you can see a lot of the scene. It's one camera that is more than enough for the kind of room that we are in right now. So let's see a couple of the things that we can do. First of all, we are going to access right here the fisheye mode. Okay, so we can see a couple of things that we can do here. First of all, let's cancel the automatic scroll. We can see the ability to, first of all, dive into the camera. Just double click the camera and you can see the image. You can see the image from inside. I will twist my phone so we can see it easier. We can actually move inside the camera to the right, and we can move to the left and downwards and upwards. You can zoom in. Okay, you can zoom out, and of course it is a fully 360 degrees. We can see everywhere. Okay, the next thing that we can do, is to go into the spiral mode. This is also a way to see the front and back. This is the teacher mode. You know, the teacher that says we have eyes on the back. So in this case, we can see the front and the back of the camera with the ability to move it, of course, just like before. We have the classical PTZ that we all like, with of course the ability to move each camera separately. Okay, every camera is being controlled separately. You can see I can move it with my fingers. You can also zoom in. Okay, if you pinch it in. And of course, our taken straight from the gaming industry feature, which is the virtual reality mode. So the virtual reality is basically using the gyroscopes. Sorry, it basically uses the gyroscopes of your phone, and wherever you are going to move the phone, if it's to the left or to the right or upwards or downwards, or even if you turn it like a screw, like here, like this, you will see the result on your screen. Now, I know that actually the definition that you are seeing is quite low, so I'm going to turn it on, the super definition, so we can see really what is the actual quality, and really let's move it into optimized quality. So now the image is going to be a little bit slow, but you're going to see the quality of that this camera has, the quality that this camera is actually delivering. You can see it right now. It will probably won't move a lot, but the image really is perfect. Next thing, and probably the last that we're going to see from the fisheye camera also, let's exit the fisheye mode, okay, is this. I'm going to press the button that we already saw before, this one right here, okay, it will take us into the playback. This time we're in the playback of the PTZ camera. Okay, so let's go into the, let's say 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, this is a recording from 8 o'clock in the morning. Guess what? We are going to do exactly the same things that we saw before using the live video. Okay, we can see that the room is it looks quite different. Exactly the same things we can do, but on a playback. So you're not near the camera. Okay, you're away from it, but you can access the same camera, the playback, and you can see exactly what you might see using the live feature as well. So this is actually a recording, and we can see the clock on the upper right. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, nobody is there yet, but we can see all of the different modes, all of the different view modes that we saw before. We can see them in a playback. Okay, this playback can be from today, yesterday, or a month ago. It doesn't matter. It only matters how large is your HDD to hold previous recordings. Okay, so Amnon, if you have anything to add or something that you think I missed.
Not at the moment. First of all, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can somebody hear Ronen? Somebody hear Amnon?
Okay. Okay, so first of all, for those of you that joined late in the last 10 minutes, I have joined you in, but as you can see, you're an hour late. We have another seminar such as this today in exactly 4 hours, so you are welcome to join. First of all, David, thank you very much for this. This was
You're welcome.
Very interesting also for me, some of the features that are quite new. For those of you that have to leave, we thank you very much for joining. We encourage you to log into our YouTube channel and to our website to see some of the pre-recorded webinars such as this. We are inviting you to join more of those seminars. We are here to educate you as much as we can and to share the knowledge that we have with our product with you. Thank you very much for joining. Like I said, we're going to open microphones now. David, please do. You're more than welcome to stay, ask questions, whether you open your mic and ask the question or just write it on the chat and we will ask on behalf of you. As for specific requests, I saw a question here that somebody needs help in setting up his app with DDNS and forwarding and the router. Yes, we have tutorials on that in our YouTube channel as well. We have short and accurate tutorials that help you do exactly what you want. Or you can stay here a little bit longer and we will be happy to do it with you. Or call one of your local support teams that will be happy to do it. It's quite easy, especially with the QR code, that you don't need to open any ports. For those of you that have to leave, thank you very much for joining you. For those of you that have questions, feel free to open your mic or ask any question. Thank you very much.